listeners that as of time of recording of this podcast, on Rotten Tomatoes right now, I'm literally looking at it on my phone, Project Hail Mary, 2 hours and 36 minutes, PG-13 classic, scores 95%. Okay. Hear ye, and welcome to the Royal Geek Podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Rollison, also known as T-Roll. And tonight, I am joined by my very good friends. First of all, we have Justin Sandoval, a.k.a. Sandy. We also have Anthony Amato, who we like to call Shamato. And of course, we got the landlord, Jordan Mosley, in the building. Boys, how are we doing tonight?
Dude, man, doing great, man. Running off a high from the movie we saw last night.
Yeah, I mean, it's been epic. The few releases that we've had so far this year have been some solid movies coming out so far.
I'm living the dream. This was a movie I've been waiting for a while.
Yeah.
It was an incredible movie. We are going to have an incredible time reviewing Project Hail Mary. Absolutely astonishing movie. How many, just adjectives can I come up with here, this is just great. Amazing. Real quick, shout out to all of our listeners. Everyone who's tuned in, thank you so much. We want to remind you to please subscribe to the podcast wherever you are listening and share this podcast with your friends. If you went and saw Project Hail Mary, if you thought it was an incredible movie just like we did, do us a favor. Share this podcast with your friends. Share this podcast with anyone else that you know who wants to see the movie also. I'm hoping that we can keep this at a respectable time, but I have a feeling we're going to have a lot to say about this film. But yeah, we just want to thank everyone for tuning in, and we especially want to thank all of our listeners who took part in what I think is going to be the greatest idea in the history of ideas when it comes to podcasting. Just when it comes to podcasting. Just when it comes to podcasting. Our Trial by Tomato, season number 1, we are on our second film, and it's Project Hail Mary, okay? So let's recap how this has worked. All right, so I got some numbers here, okay? Several weeks ago when we did our episode, the four of us covering all of our picks over and under for 10 different movies for season 1, we had the betting line at the time, pretty respectful betting line for a movie like this. The line was set at 86.5. Thanks once again to Jordan Mosley, a.k.a. the landlord, who just killed it, okay? This model he created using AI, it's a cocktail of Jordan and artificial intelligence that made this entire thing that we have here called Trial by Tomato. The betting line was 86.5, okay? So just to give a recap, there's a couple of things that we're going to do every time one of these movies come up. We are going to give an update on the leaderboard, and we're also going to focus primarily on the picks that the four of us made and then anything else that we want to shout out for some of our listeners, okay? So, guys, I think we start with the leaderboard. What do you think?
Let's do it.
I have to.
Bring it on.
Out of deep respect, I think this is 2 straight movies now. Daquan was in first place for After Hoppers, and he is still in first place now. Am I right about that? I'm pretty sure I'm right about that.
Yeah, he was. I think, 1 or 2 points off on this one. He went in at 93.
Yeah.
Movie was at 95 as of tonight.
As the time of recording. Yep.
Yeah. So let me just shout out our top 3 right now. First, second, and third, okay? Gold, silver, bronze. Quan is in first place. His total points are 27. He's running away with it. Second place is Peter Johnson. Shout out, Peter, at 23 points. And then third place, the better Mosley, Will Mosley, Jordan's brother here in third place, killing it. Let it be known that none of the Royal Geek Podcast hosts are in the top 6. It's not until you get to number 7 where we have Justin. Sandy is sitting there at number 7 at 18 points. I am currently at number 8 with 15 points. Got to go a little further down to find Jordan. He's down in 13th place with 8 points. And you got to go a little further down. It's only 1 point less for Shamato, but he is currently with 7 points in 16th place. Okay. So that's the leaderboard. And you can go check out the leaderboard. We're going to have a post on Instagram where you can see more of this. But let's talk a little bit about how the four of us did. And as well, also the King. See how the King did coming into Project Hail Mary. Again, this was weeks ago. I don't remember when we did that podcast. I think it was January something.
In a minute.
It's been a minute, been a couple months. The line was 86.5. I think it looks like 2 of us went over, 2 of us went under. So me and Justin went over. Shamato, Jordan, you guys both went under. Jordan played it pretty close. He took it at 86. It was 86.5. He just barely went under, still under.
I didn't feel good about that one.
What were you thinking, Jordan?
So I'm honest, this is not an excuse, but I felt like we went early on it. We added in the scores. Like the original time when we did it, we didn't have numbers, right? So we had to associate numbers with it before the season even started, and I started regretting it. Like as we got closer, I was hearing the buzz. I knew I'd done screwed up. So I was like, how close to this 86.5 can I get? And so that's where I went. I should have went over. I was so excited for the movie. I got scared.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Shimada also went under, but he went 80. So Shimada, same thing. Where you was a little too early. Like, what were you thinking?
So my main thing is like, just was I honestly I just had a bad feeling that they were going to fumble it. Like honestly, like maybe it's because I'm the closest to reading it. Like I know Sandy and the landlord also read it, but like I read it probably most recently. So like I just had this feeling in my mind that I was like, I feel like they're gonna do something. I feel like they're gonna mess up the ending. I feel like they're just gonna try to make it too happy at the end. Like that's kind of where I thought it was gonna go. So I trusted the story. I did not necessarily trust the creators of this of the movie.
Which is actually wild because I went over because of the directing people involved in this. Because I mean, Lord and Miller have, in my opinion, like they have not missed yet. They have done. Yeah, granted, this is their first live action movie in the last 12 years.
Yeah.
But all the animated movies that they've done have been absolutely incredibly done. That's why I mean,
I don't know. I just had a bad feeling, honestly.
Well, speaking of going over, the movie itself went over. Okay, now we didn't even say this yet because this is still a new thing for us. We got to figure out how we do this every week. So my bad, guys. It's probably pretty important to mention to our listeners that as of time of recording of this podcast, on Rotten Tomatoes right now, I'm literally looking at it on my phone, Project Hail Mary, 2 hours and 36 minutes, PG-13 classic, scores 95. Okay, so the line was 86 and absolutely smashed that at 95%. And if you played our game and you went over, you got some good points. And I believe the way it works, the closer you get to the perfect score, which nobody got a perfect score, and I don't think anybody got a perfect score on Hoppers either.
I don't think so.
So we could check that later, but I don't think anybody has gotten a perfect score yet. You do win a special prize when you get a perfect score. But let's talk about me and Justin. We went over. I said 88 was kind of a safe call. I didn't want to go into the 90s. I was a little nervous, a little apprehensive, but something told me it was going to be the way you guys have been hyping it up. I was like, man, it just feels like a movie. I love Ryan Gosling. It just feels right. And I knew, sometimes these like space stories and I don't even know what genre of film this is. It's,
Sci-fi.
It's not. Yeah, it's sci-fi, but it's like survival. It's like that's the genre I'm kind of think of, like a doomsday kind of. We got to save the
Deep
world.
Impact, Armageddon.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, those classically high-rated Rotten Tomatoes movies.
Exactly, precisely. So, but we got to give a shout out on our podcast. The person who got the closest to the actual score is Sandy. So, Sandy, I want to give you your moment to shine right here. You said 92. The score was 95. You were the closest by far of all of us. So let's, when you're watching Around the Horn, you get that 30 seconds at the end to kind of speak your piece.
Yeah,
Whatever you
exactly.
want to say the next 30 seconds, this is on you.
It was from top to bottom, like the acting in this movie was incredible. And I feel like when you looked at the cast prior to the release, you saw Ryan Gosling. Yes, he is Hollywood's sweetheart, man. Like yeah, I know he's my. Yeah, we're gonna spend a lot of time talking about him later tonight. But yeah, he doesn't do wrong, man. Like he can make a cheesy, dumb action movie and elevate it by at least 20 to 30 Rotten Tomato score. Like it is.
Yeah.
He's got that effect on it. And I banked on Ryan Gosling and I banked on people falling in love with Rocky because the story was so good when I was listening to the audiobook. And Rocky, he stole my heart, and I mean, after watching this movie, he stole a lot of people's hearts. Yeah. And it's hard. It's hard to go against that kind of heartstring pulling right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to go the over there.
Well, you did great, man. Again, you got the closest to it. Let me say one last thing about Trial by Tomato. I want to give a couple more shout outs to some of our listeners. Okay. So again, the score was 95%. Nobody got a perfect score, but we do have 2 people that had 94. I want to give them a shout out. Will Mosley again. This got him up to 3rd place. He said 94. Kyle Horton said 94 as well. And then we mentioned Daquan earlier. He's in 1st place. He said 93. Okay,
He's right on it.
pretty darn good. One more person said 93, gentlemen. That would be the late, great Tyler Sweat, who said
Hey.
Look at his
93.
move.
Hey,
Dude.
that's Royal Geek Podcast royalty right there, okay?
All right, that's what it is.
So shout out Sweat at a 93. Boys, again, this game is going to get even more fun the longer the season goes. So to all of our listeners, thank you for participating. Those of you who are participating, check out the leaderboard on our Instagram. And if you missed out, like, trust me, you're going to want to be a part of this. We will be. It's only going to be a couple months from now. We're going to have season 2 coming soon, okay? We got 10 more movies for the back half of the year. We got a lot to talk about, a lot more movies to...
We're only 2 movies in, so
Yeah.
that form is still up on Instagram. You can go to our
Yeah.
link in our bio, and you can click that form and fill it out, and you can get in on the action now.
You still can, because guess what? If you join right now, you will have 0 points, along with 4 people. We have 4 people who have 0 points. Shout out. Here we go. You ready? Keenan, I can't pronounce your last name. Do one of you guys know this guy? How do you say that last name?
Kennan. That's Kennan.
Kennan,
And I don't know how to
excuse
say
me.
his last name.
All
Kennan,
right.
Kennan is a cinephile. Like, he is on par with Justin. He's blowing it so far. And
But
we
the truth
I
is,
talked to him about it today.
But again, if you go under and on the first 2, they both go over, you get no points, right? I mean, it's simple as that. So Kyle Starr, also 0 points. Marcus Callahan, 0 points. And the great Philip,
That's
0 points.
my other baby brother. So I got one in 3rd place, and there's me, and then there's the other one, the middle child.
The other one. So anyways, you could still play now. There's still a chance, because even though Daquan has 27 points, if the next 2 movies he strikes out, he gets no progress, right? So, I mean, this thing is ever evolving. Sign up right now. You can play. We'll have a link in the bio of this video. Huh, Justin? What do you think? That's a pretty good idea. Link
Make
to
it happen,
sign
baby.
up. Yeah,
Go to
we can make it happen.
YouTube and check out the link in the bio. Or
That's
the
right.
description. There you go.
Okay,
Coming for you,
boys.
Spawn.
Yeah, I think it's time to give the spoiler warning. What do you say?
Let's do it.
You about it?
Do it.
Okay, so here is your spoiler warning for Project Hail Mary. Boys, the first thing I want to know is everyone share your experience in the theater. When did you go? What was the theater like? How was the popcorn? Let's hear about it.
Should we go from earliest showtime to latest showtime?
Who had the earliest showtime on Thursday?
I think that's me.
Mine was 2:45 Central Time.
Oh, so you.
Oh, yeah, it's
Oh
definitely.
yeah, you
For
you
sure
definitely
you.
beat me.
Okay.
So you tell us your experience.
Well, we sat in the theater and they had technical difficulties for a while.
No.
They did. The screen wouldn't come on. It was great. First movie experience here in Birmingham, where I just moved to. And by the way, want to shout out my coworkers who the office team decided to go see Project Hail Mary as an office outing. They invited me, but they didn't want to do IMAX. They wanted to go to this fancy theater with the comfy recliners. And I said, look, I am contractually obligated to go see this movie in IMAX. So I have to go to the other theater in Birmingham, which I've seen IMAX movies here before. And I think there's only one IMAX in Birmingham, I think. I'm still new, so I don't know. And sure enough, I hope none of them listen to this podcast, because if they do, they're going to pick on me so much, because I was defiant. I was like, no, you got to go see it in IMAX. And they're like, the chairs aren't comfy there. The popcorn's not good. It's just not a good theater. And I'm like, it doesn't matter. It's got to be IMAX. And sure enough, we show up. The movie's like 40 minutes delayed. We didn't get any trailers. They had to just eventually throw it on. It went right into it. So, but the experience itself, aside from that, was good. But it was funny. At the end of the movie, the credits are rolling. And they literally cut it off and kicked us out because they had to get ready for the next showing. So hopefully there wasn't a post-credit scene.
No post credit. They're like, get the heck out.
Yeah, exactly. So that was my experience. How about you boys?
Yeah, so I went 5:30 Eastern. We saw it IMAX. Man, we got in there. I think I missed the first maybe minute and a half. But I mean, other than that, like, it was a pretty good experience. The guy who was beside us, he had his book bag and his shoes sitting in our seat. like
Shoes?
shoes.
Oh, that's a foul right there, dude.
And like not to brag, but like I was the first one to grab tickets for the theater. So I got like perfect row, like right in the middle, and then I got the 3 middle seats because there was three of us that went. So like you look and this whole theater's full, and this guy just thinks, oh, the 3 best seats in the house, they're not taken.
Shoes and
So let me take my shoes off.
that's
Ugh.
crazy.
Really
These are
weird.
2 terrible stories. Hopefully Shimano can make this better.
I went to the 7 p.m. showing, but one of the interesting things was I was
IMAX?
yes, IMAX.
All right, just clarify.
I was super excited because when I bought my tickets, I didn't buy them until like the day before, but like I looked and I was like, there are already like 20 spots taken up. And so I was super excited just by that fact that there was
Yeah.
that many people already like seats taken in the theater. And then, it wasn't like to full capacity, but it was still pretty full, which is, unfortunately in this like post-COVID time, it's still a little like odd to have the theater legitimately like almost full.
Yeah.
And so, but it was the actual like theater experience was really good. I'd say overall, for the most part, people were engaged, but they were not obnoxiously engaged. So that was nice. You heard, you could hear like the chucklings rumbling through when there was jokes and things like that. So it was had that nice theater experience, but nobody was like being that like that person where you're like, oh my gosh, I just wish they would leave.
Well, that's good. Yeah, I had a 9:40 showing, and
It's an
I
early
actually-
showing for you.
It is, and I actually did a different format than IMAX. I did X experience,
Ah.
fellas. It was fun, man.
Yeah.
Every scene on the space station that was spinning and moving and shaking, I felt it. And the best part about it is because you felt all that shaking in those crazy moments, but when he steps out into space and the stillness and like
Yeah.
and he's feeling the moments of being still in space, the seats are slowly like swaying. Like
Yeah.
it's just like you're floating. It feels like
Yeah.
you're floating. It was a phenomenal experience. I'm definitely gonna catch it again on IMAX because I feel like you got to see it on that big screen. But the 4DX experience was a good one. It was not full or packed. 4DX is a smaller seating capacity. And I will say it was probably about maybe 15 people, and then 4 people showed up an hour into the movie, which blew my mind.
I never understand that. I don't understand
Never
why people
understood
get up during a movie,
Yeah.
let alone be an hour
Oh,
late.
Yeah.
Hey, let's
don't-
just hope that they
I-
saw the IMAX before and then it was over and then they just slid into 4DX. Let's just hope.
100% tell you that that was not the case. But
Okay, never mind.
They're like, oh, what's going on?
so there you go.
Well, let's get into it, boys. I mean, what a movie! I don't even know. I really don't know where to begin. Maybe we'll start here. The 3 of you all read or listened to the audiobook, right?
Yep.
So did my wife. She joined me for the movie. I did not. So I have the perspective of like I only know what I saw on the trailer. The Earth is going to die or something. Like that's all I knew, right? Ryan Gosling's in it. That's cool. I had no idea it was going to be funny. It was hilarious.
It was very
Yeah.
hilarious. Yep.
It's
Right.
Andy Weir. It's gonna have tones of comedy.
Yeah.
So many good moments of humor, funny, like it was really good. Yeah. But I don't know where to start. I guess, I'd love to hear, you guys already know this story. So it certainly does. This movie means more to the 3 of you. So I want to give you guys the moment to talk about it a little bit.
Okay. I'll go ahead and start things off here. I will say I was worried because the story was so good when I was listening to the audiobook, and I was worried about what will get cut from the
Yeah.
book to make this film shorter than 3 hours, and because they did that, they accomplished that, and the things they cut out was nothing egregious. It didn't affect the story at all, but there were maybe like a few moments from the book where I was like, oh man, I understand why they cut it out, but if they would have left it in, I think it would have played more into the emotions of it.
Yeah.
And I mean, as far as the entirety of the movie goes, it did not miss a beat as far as epicness of the book. I feel like the epicness of the book was maintained throughout the entirety of this movie, and the heart and soul was there, and they made some good creative decisions. I still think of like one major scene in my eyes from the book that they took out that they should have left in, but maybe that's another conversation.
Yeah, I mean, like one thing I think I was worried about how they would compress some of the stuff that he does in the like the learning process is very like incremental. in the book, like where like he's only figuring out about 10% of the problem every single time. Like, so it's like it takes a lot of time, whereas they shortened that a lot in the movie. Like, for example, like with the Talmiba, like I brought this up a little bit before the pod. Like, it was like, oh, they found the Talmiba. Oh, we replicated it and it's now perfect. That was like literally like at minimum 30 pages of the book, like from when they find the Talmiba to when they actually get to that point. Might be even more than that, honestly. Like how many pages it actually takes them to successfully get it to where it needs to be for the nitrogen levels. And so it's just interesting. They did have to compress some of that stuff, and I completely understand that. Like, you can only do so much.
Yeah, I get it, man, and you have to sometimes.
Jordan, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I was worried at the same thing what they were going to cut, but I think they did a good job of selecting what those things were, because a lot of it was math. Like in the book, it is very heavy on the science, on the math. So like they just kind of yada through that, which I was okay with.
Amen. Yes.
There was a little bit on the front end of him figuring out like who he was. In the book, that's a very drawn out process.
Yeah.
So again, not integral to the story at all, other than like, okay, it was pretty cool, like how he found out who he was over. I mean, it probably was, I would say 50 to 100 pages.
I'd say it was almost 50 pages before he reached that first hatch. Like when they when he's like, I feel like the like figuring out how to get to there, like figuring out enough stuff, figuring out what the math problems are that what is it? Armando. Is it Armando?
Armando.
Yes. Is testing him with.
Yep.
Like I feel like it was almost 50 pages before he even got to the hatch the first time.
Then there was stuff they added too that wasn't in the book that I think made it for like a theatrical release even better.
Yeah, like the whole like the sphere room, like that was one thing that like was that at all in the book?
Which one? Which room?
The
like beach.
Like the beach.
No,
yeah, like I don't remember that at all. Like in the book, and like I just didn't know if it was just something that I forgot, or I don't remember that room at all. But it was an interesting way to like conceptualize some of the stuff that was going on
and show Rocky like.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
Yeah, so that was really cool getting to see them kind of like that was a really good addition, because it kind of gave them like moments to. It gave them moments to bond around things that weren't directly related to the mission, which, that makes it feel more like it helped kind of show that the relationship had moved beyond just like we're coworkers.
Yeah.
It had become, more like friends, more than
Yeah.
friends, like, yeah.
It was a mixture of work and pleasure, because even that room was used to, like, when he just was describing fishing, and Rocky's like, "What is fishing?" And he literally shows him, like, so it kind of was like a dual purpose, is functional and fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah, which in like for that scene, just so well done. Like the quick cut, and like
Yes.
he immediately was able to realize what it was without them having to do a drawn out process of like, this is what fishing is, this is what this means, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. From perspective of someone who hadn't read the book, I mean, I'm sitting there and literally, like, even the way it starts, I'm like, because it literally starts with him on the ship.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the heck is going on? Like, I was, it wasn't even 0 to 100. It was just 100. There was no 0. There was no,
Yeah.
there was no lead. Like, thank God I saw the trailer and had some insight of him before this. But if you literally like get invited to this movie, you have no idea what it's about.
That's true. You're right.
Well,
You're like, what the heck is going on?
Well, even me, like I said, I walked in and I don't know how much I missed. I know it wasn't a lot. Like it was,
Yeah.
we're talking, we were like 8 minutes late to the movie. So I'm guessing it had 0 trailers. And like it was already a few minutes in, and I was like, dang, what did I miss?
Yeah.
Because I didn't know they were going to go that route.
Yeah.
Which I was fine with.
Like some of the stuff, they had to compress a little bit. One thing I kind of wish they had been able to do a little bit more of is like, I kind of wish that Rocky's snarkiness could have been played out a little bit more. Like he was snarky, but like I feel like there's just, like essentially like in the book, every other time he's talking to Ryland, he's like there's some sort of like backhanded like snark to what he's saying to him. And like that was some of the best parts was just like him doing that, or even like him like his little expressions like amaze, like that kind of stuff. I think we only got that once in the entire movie, and I kind of wish we had gotten maybe a few more of those exclamations. Or
Oh, we
even
got a
just
couple of mazes. We got a couple of mazes
Yeah,
in the movie.
there's a few of them. Yeah.
There's a few. There's a
I
few.
was worried they were going to overplay them.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, fist my bump, and I thought everybody that had read the book was waiting for those,
Oh,
like
yeah,
the
yeah.
catchphrases. Like you're just
Yeah.
waiting.
You sleep, I watch.
Yeah, like those are ones that, and I was really hoping they didn't.
You were excited for the bumping of the fists and everything. Is what
Yeah.
you're saying?
Yeah.
The fist bumps,
Yes.
fisting his bump.
Yes.
So good still.
So, but here's the thing. Like, I lean over to Courtney right away, and I'm like, "Is this like the way it starts? Like, again, not even 0 to 100, just 100. Is this how the book was?" And she's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Whoa!" And she told me pretty early on in watching, which was helpful. She was like, she whispered to me, she's like, "In the book, you are learning what he is learning as it happens."
Yep.
Yeah.
And that, I think that was pretty helpful to know, because the way they did the flashbacks was like, if you see a flashback, he is now having that memory right in that moment.
Yes.
yeah.
Right.
And that's how it was in the book too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I think was pretty unique. I don't know a lot of other movies that I've seen that like that's how it works, you know.
Yeah, I'm glad as a non book reader that the flashbacks and the way they did it made sense to you, because I was worried, because I felt like while you're reading through it, those scenes were pretty key and pretty pivotal. And
Oh yeah.
if you got lost in the movie because you didn't understand what was going on and you thought like, oh, he did know all this, but yet he's over here saying, I don't know, I don't remember, I
Yeah.
don't understand. So like, yeah, I'm glad that it was not some shocking and crazy transitions for you.
Yeah. No, it was good.
I was a little worried that they were going to go to a very long flashback, and almost, because I think a lot of movies will do that, where they give you. It's weird. Have you ever seen the movie? I think Now and Again or whatever. It's like a '90s movie, but it like starts in present time, and then they go to a very, very long flashback, and then the movie ends back in present time, and the whole movie was done in flashback. I thought that's what they were going to do.
Ooh, yeah, I'm glad they didn't do
Well,
that.
that would have been rough.
That would have been
Yeah.
bad. Yeah.
So I thought that was going to be the device they used, but they didn't. God.
Yeah, because like it is part of it is like he's like one of the best parts is like he's like constantly confused with what's going on in a lot of ways. Like
Yeah.
he's learning so much about it's I don't know, he's learning so much about himself throughout the whole entire process. And it is one thing that you're learning about is like he doesn't know who he is. Like he's refiguring out like who he is, why he does stuff, like, and like even to the point to where like he through most of them, I do think they could have like emphasized a little bit better like how much that he didn't know, like that he was not like he thought he was like one of the astronauts.
Yeah.
Like
The
most
entirety
of
of
like
it,
the
yeah.
entirety of it. Like literally that plays out exactly like the book, to where like when they hit you with the fact that he was not like actual willing participant, you're like, oh, like in the book, it was like, it was insane when you see that.
Yeah. That was insane from a non-book reader. That
Yeah.
scene, I was like horrified. I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
holy smokes. They just sent that dude up there."
Yeah.
And honestly, the way they did it in the movie, I think it played better, I think, than the book,
Yeah,
because they didn't have like the little chase. It was very like pretty clean and cut in the
Yeah.
book. They were just
It was
like,
just like in a living space.
yeah, that was it. But like they had him running around, and I was like, I think that made it worse, because when he was tackled on the ground and he sees Carl, and he's like, Carl, and then like Carl just walks up to him, he's like,
Like you're going to do great.
yeah, you're gonna
Yes.
do great. And then that was it. Like that hit
Yeah.
even harder for me. I was like, dude, this is insane.
All right.
Dude.
First big question. As you guys both reading it and watching it, it's like, where do you guys land on how unethical was that? Was it unethical? Is that the right word to describe it? Or are you like, oh, necessary, had to be done? What's the lady's name is Strat?
Strat.
Okay. Are you on team Strat? Like, where's everyone land here?
Dude, that's a big question.
It is a very big question. It's one of those things. It's like under the idea of like a necessary evil, like
Yeah.
kind of like that's kind of where it falls because like they've been. It is a little like kind of you kind of forget like the extent of time. They've been doing this for like 2 years training. Like when the explosion happens that kills the primary and the secondary. So like they don't have like it isn't like this. They've been training for weeks. Like it's years that they've been training. So you're talking about, and when you're talking about the fact that the Earth is like some maybe 30 years away from being essentially an apocalyptic universe or apocalyptic world, it is you're literally talking about. It literally brings up the idea of like the life of one man over the life of
Billions.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the things that changed it from the book to the movie, I think they made the character Strat. I thought she was better in the movie.
That's 1,000%.
Like they
1,000%, yes.
gave her heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas in the book, she is very cut and dry. So like with this, she was. I mean, they even had the scene where they set it up. Like where I don't remember the exact way he was asking it, but like essentially, like, do you feel bad for sending these people up there?
It's true.
And
She's like, no.
she's like, no, I don't. And then I thought like when that scene was happening, I thought back to the scene.
Same.
Crap, like he was asking, she didn't feel bad, and in that moment I know she felt bad for him, but she knew like this is what has to happen, so just
Yeah.
shut up and do it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I think I'm probably leaning towards Strat as well. I mean, the what's it? The lives of the few for the lives of the many.
Well, she had
Lives
the,
of the one.
Yeah. There you go.
like she had the like the line in the office when they were attacking him. Like basically, she said like, "This is how much I believe in you,"
Yeah.
and
It's
I
true.
was like, "Dang, like that was awesome."
Yeah, that was
Like
pretty cool.
I thought that
Yeah.
was a really good one because they made his and her relationship. I mean, it was very platonic. Like, but you could tell she genuinely liked him.
Yeah.
Like as a person, she like in the scene where she sings and the karaoke and like I know Ryan Gosling's like he's the dude in this, but she was my second favorite character. This Rocky.
I was like,
yeah.
what? Excuse me?
She's my second
Favorite
favorite
human.
human
There you go.
character
Yeah.
in the movie because I thought whoever played it, don't know her name. She was awesome.
Yeah.
I think it's like Sarah Hewler
Yep.
is her name.
Hewler.
Yeah. But yeah. So there was just there was so many good things. I do want to throw out a shout out to the actress who played Ilyukna is actually one of my favorite comedians from an older show called At Midnight, which was on for a while, and she was on there like quite a bit, and she's finally getting some like traction and some other things. She's been in a few other things, but it was just cool to see her. She's also known. She's probably more known as being like the AT&T girl.
I was gonna say the 18.
She's more known for, but like it was just awesome actually seeing her being like in a big budget picture.
Yeah, which my one of my buddies who came with me, shout out JR, like he in the middle of the movie he leaned over, he's like, "Is that the AT&T girl?" And I was like, "Yep."
I love how Amato would be the one to be like, yeah, my favorite actor from this show, no one knows, but also the AT&T girl. But, for me,
yeah.
this show.
There's also a show called Other Space, which was actually a pretty solid show, which was actually one of like 2 or 3 shows that actually was on Yahoo Screen.
Word. Oh no.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's brutal.
Dang.
Okay, so question. Speaking of her, and by the way, freaking Yao, freaking Rush Hour, like I have not seen this dude since Rush Hour. Okay, the guy that played the villain in Rush Hour, one of the villains in Rush Hour, and like when I saw him as one of the astronauts, I was literally doing like the DiCaprio meme. It's like literally, I was like, oh my gosh, just the dude from Rush Hour, and it's I always want to say Jutao, but it's not him. He's like the the minion for him.
Right.
But Jackie Chan's running after him like that. Anyways, so the movie starts right within a couple minutes. These folks are dead. Okay.
Yeah.
Question. And this is probably a minor point, but it's like I'm the guy who didn't read the book. Do we have any idea how they died? Like, no indication in this movie is given to why they are dead.
There was more explanation in the book about the whole putting you into an induced coma aspect. And so they were going through, in the book, they go through a bunch of the medical testing on what it does to the brain and that kind of thing. And how, like, in the movie, Grace mention it very briefly. He's like, how are we planning on getting there? Like, how's the coma? Like, how's that going to work? And like, oh, we've been testing, or like we've been testing,
Yeah.
and then that's it. But in the book, it goes into way more detail
It does.
about the failures and the trials and the like. We're hoping that it's going to work, that kind of thing, and so
Didn't
that's
they have
what
to
it
have
was.
like certain?
There's a certain gene.
Yeah, genes.
say
Yeah, they
those genes that
tested.
they-
Yeah, they tested.
Yeah, they gene tested to see if essentially what it was is there was a certain percentage of the population that was more likely to take positively to
Induced comas.
the induced comas. And they also brought up the fact that like the reason why they did induced comas was because essentially they would murder each other. Is essentially the idea is if they were awake the entire time. So they put them in the induced comas because it cut down on the possibility of hostile like
Work
actions
environment.
toward each other. Essentially,
HR problems.
is the reason why they did it.
Yeah, because how long did it take to get from Earth to?
7.8 years, I think, is what it was.
Wow,
Jeez, that's
this really was a
insane.
Hail Mary.
Yeah.
Okay, but in the movie, they're not like when he's in a coma, he's got like a breathing tube. He's like they aren't like that. They're just laying there, bro.
That's
so
When he pulls them out, they're already just laying
so
there.
I don't think they were in a coma in the movie, but the book gave more
So,
explanation that's helpful.
I think essentially what happened was Armando essentially did a cost benefit analysis. They died, and then it stopped giving them the what they needed to live.
Interesting.
So when they died, were essentially removed from those life support systems.
Save the energy.
Yes,
Basically, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
but to get to your point, they never really like specifically state how they died.
No, they don't.
In the book, it's just they died sometime in travel some way or another.
Gotcha. One other big picture thing I just want to say, I know you guys probably want to get into like the things you loved, maybe the things you didn't like. Justin, looking at you, Mr. Native. No, seriously. I told the wife this earlier. We went and had some dinner, and we were talking about the movie, and I was like, when you see a really good movie, you're kind of thinking on it the rest of the day, right? When you see a really, really good movie, you're thinking on it the next day. And when you see a really, really, really good movie, you're kind of thinking on it for multiple days, right?
That's right.
And we're not there yet, but today, day 2, after seeing the movie, it's like, man, I thought about it a lot of the day. Like, it really is a moving, story, challenging, gripping, the feels I get when Rocky saves Grace and I think he's freaking dead. And I'm a wreck. I'm a wreck. You got this like black smoke coming off of him. You could hear it like burning his skin, or it kind of sounded like wheezing a little bit. It was awful. And just like knowing the despair of like you have one friend within light years of anyone else and he's gone. Now thankfully he wasn't gone. It was a little strange. He came back and Grace is like, "Hey, what's up, man?" It's like, "Oh, dude, did you think he wasn't dead, or like, am I just crazy here?" So, but like the movie was so moving.
It was, yeah.
And I'm just so impressed, guys. But anyways, where do you guys want to go next? I just said one of the big scenes there. Obviously, skipping ahead a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we might as well skip ahead to. I really want to know your opinion, T-Roll, as a non-book reader, of Rocky, his introduction, and just like getting to know him. I feel like I want to hear what you have to say about
And
that.
did you know that he was like a part of this? Like, did you pay that much attention in the trailers?
I saw the trailers and I saw a little, looks like a fist, but it was, his hand rock thing or something.
Can I throw out one more question? Were you expecting it that early in the movie?
That's a good question, Shamato. I never thought of it like, wow, that's early. But now that I think about it, it is very early now that I think about it. But again, because of the flashbacks happening, being intertwined, it feels more early. But because if they would have just done chronological, it would have probably fit right in the middle. Yeah. So it was interesting. In the trailer, I didn't get a good look at him. I don't think they showed much of him besides his hand. I could be wrong. But again, one thing I like, I feel like I'm Grace in this movie. At one point, he's like, I can't, is there a face there? And I was like, I literally just said that question in my head. And then Ryan Gosling says it. So it's like, it was relatable where I'm like, no idea what the hell that is. What's going on here? Is that sentient? Oh, it is. Okay.
That was one of the big, I guess, problems that like the book elitist had Where it's
Sure.
like, oh, it's such a like is a massive part of the book of finding out. Like I had no idea reading or listening to it that there was an alien in it.
Yeah.
No idea. And so like the fact that they let it out there early in their in their marketing, like it didn't bother me one bit. I didn't really care. I already knew about it. But it told me that they planned on using him in a bigger way. And so I wasn't surprised that he came that early in the movie because they're like, okay, we've already put it out there. It's not a surprise. I actually kind of like that.
Yeah. It's interesting. I will say, like, when I read the book, like, or, listen to it, however you want to, get at that. After that part, I literally stopped the book and I was like, how much is left in this? Because I was like, for me, I was like, it seems really early in this book to now be introducing the alien. What else are they going to be doing? Like the insanity of like how much there still was left in the book after that moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that just him being introduced so early in the movie and in the book, it allowed the friendship aspect to really build.
Yeah.
And you really got to see, feel, and experience the closeness that they developed. And it honestly, like it was the whole meaning of the movie, man. It was friendship.
Yeah.
What does it mean? And how far through the galaxy can it last? That kind of thing.
One interesting part, I didn't realize this earlier. We talked about like they cut a lot of the math and stuff out. I don't remember them talking about it much in the movie about like while Rocky had all this awesome technology on his ship, like they were like way behind in technology compared
Yes.
to what Grace had. So whereas like certain aspects of like, oh, their knowledge at least.
Yes, because they had never left their atmosphere, I believe.
Yeah, so like what was it that killed the other
Radiation. It was they
Radiation,
did
that's
not
right.
understand radiation. That's what ended up killing the killing all the other crew members, which was honestly like when you go through that part in the book, it is
Yeah.
gut wrenching. Like as you hear him, like essentially as they're slowly figuring it out, and Ryland's figured it out, and he's trying to tell Rocky what's happening, and Rocky is not only doesn't know the concept of radiation, so he has to learn that. He's learning like this is how they died, how he just essentially lived through circumstance. Like it had nothing really to do with anything. It was just luck of the draw,
Yeah.
So how does he survive that then?
He was closest to the astrophage, and the astrophage, I think, ate or protected him from.
Yeah.
Yeah, they apparently
radiation?
Yeah, they apparently were
Wow.
like essentially
buffer. They
shielding.
were a
Yeah, they
buffer.
were like
Yeah.
a shielding buffer. Yeah.
How about that? Okay.
So again, not like that part's not like crucial to the movie, but like those were really cool points in the book.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I
I-
thought
I-
it was. Oh, go ahead, Justin.
Oh, no, you got it, Tyrell. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, just maybe we could talk for a moment about when they meet. Like the ship, Rocky's ship sees him, and just the dance of like Grace trying to fly away, and then Rocky's ship, and the music they choose, and it just felt like you're watching literally a comedy, Like, and then there was a moment where it was like after doing a couple moves, like one time Grace like moved the joystick like 1, 2, 3. And then it shows it in space and it's silent. There's no sound. And you see his ship go 1, 2, 3. And then like a second or two later, the same thing. Like Rocky's ship comes aside and you're just like, what? Like it just felt like a big joke. But not in a way. What'd you say?
But I was one of the ones in the theater. I was not expecting to laugh that much during the movie.
Yeah.
Like little subtle things like that were just freaking hilarious.
Incredible.
It's because it's really cool seeing like this idea play out of like what it actually would mean to meet another sentient species, one who you knew nothing about going into it. Like so much of that is like it's sort of like the odd couple kind of idea that's kind of being played into it, but also like trying to figure out how do you come up with common ground. Like,
Yeah.
Where you figure out this stuff, like figuring out all these little things and like essentially
clock.
Yes, like the clock and like just like all this kind of stuff, like figuring out how to communicate. Like, how do you communicate with something that, and then throwing on top of that the fact that like Rocky doesn't have vision, like, like he does not have the concept of seeing. So,
Mm.
which is like you just like, hey, guess what? We're gonna make this super hard. You're not gonna have a similar language. You're not gonna have any similar backgrounds. And then to throw it on there, one of the like most important senses for humans is just like non-existent in that species.
Yeah, the sequence of them learning to communicate was so impressive where I'm like, wow, like that would have been, I told Courtney, I was like, that would have been exhausting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and trying to just narrow down same sounds
Yep.
and then associating them with words and
Right.
hoping you've deciphered the correct word. Yeah,
And I love how they did. It wasn't just like a one scene thing. Like they did have some where he was like, "Oh, like let me go add that back in."
yeah,
Yeah.
Need human word.
Yeah.
dang, dude.
Yeah, and it was just like it's also interesting like that you miss like the idea that like so Rylan was essentially, you know, the expert on astrophage, and essentially Rocky was Ilukina's character, essentially on his ship, because she was the engineer on their ship. So it was they each had their own roles. So it made like this, instead of it essentially almost being like butting heads, it was a melding of the kind of theoretical and the experimental, or theoretical and practical uses of science. So they made them work really well together.
Yeah. Like there's that one moment, and I don't remember what Rocky said, but they were trying to figure out like how to solve something. Maybe it was how to get a sample or something like that. And Grace is like, how do we do it? And then he just says something so simple, and he's like, I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah,
Rocky's like, why not? That was an obvious thing.
Yeah,
yeah,
and I think when Grace was, he said a few times like, "Oh yeah, my dumb human brain, my dumb human brain." Like,
yes,
Yes.
yeah,
Dude,
he put on a
dude.
puppet show for my dumb human brain. Like,
yeah,
Bro, one of the funniest moments of the movie early on of Rocky coming over to the ship in his little Rubik's Cube thing. You know what I'm saying? And literally, like, Rylan is doing, like, confessional videos, you know?
yeah,
Like, real world, you know, Tau Ceti or whatever it's called, you know, like real world videos, and just doing a little interview, self-interview, whatever it's called. And he's like, he just has no respect for personal space. Who are you talking to? No, and I wasn't saying anything. And he like whispers so much lower. He got so low where I could barely hear him in the theater. And Rocky's like, I could still hear you. I could still hear you. But the comedy of that, like, it was so perfect.
yes,
Did
yeah.
You know?
Did you see the video of Ryan Gosling talking about where he's talking about, I guess, his ex-girlfriend or his ex-wife or whatever, with where Rocky's like, Rocky hates Mark, or I hate Mark.
yeah,
Yeah.
Where like, it was like, you know, his friend that was off screen, like it was supposed to be just a throwaway, just joke, and the puppeteer that voices Rocky just played it off so great that they had to keep it in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
No way.
it was
Yeah.
they were riffing, and Goslin, he hit him with she ran off with my friend Mark, and then Rocky's like, Rocky hate Mark. Yeah, that was all improvised, and then that was amazing.
And just
So
like the
good.
fact that that's like the ride or die nature of it, like
Yeah.
immediately, like he's just like he knows nothing else about this person, Mark. He just knows that he hates him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that like they were trying to figure out like who was going to voice Rocky.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I'm glad
Yes.
you brought it up because yes, they were on a hunt for the voice of Rocky, and they were going to have the puppeteer do the puppeteer, and then bring in most likely some big voice
Yeah.
actor to play
Yeah.
Rocky. But when Gosling was acting with the puppeteer would act back, and they could just tell that he knew the character so
Yeah.
well and cared so much for Rocky. They're like, no, you're Rocky.
And they had great like chemistry.
chemistry. Yep.
They were practicing together.
That was
Like,
incredible.
that was his.
Yeah.
Like they were running lines so often together that he was like, "No, this is the guy."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, which of you did the audiobook?
Jordan and me, and you did. Too.
Yeah, yeah.
All three. Okay. So Courtney said that the voice that they pick for Rocky in the movie sounds close or similar to Rocky in the book, in the audiobook. Is that true? Really close. Because I think that's fun, and I think that's a cool nod to just like those who listen to the audiobook, right? Because they practice like, I don't know, 4 or 5 other voices that are crazy.
Yeah. Meryl
You know?
Streep, you can do
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's so good.
And before they finally land on his, and they both look at each other like, that's the one. Even Rocky's like, yeah, I like that.
I wonder. I do want to kind of see if it comes out that like Meryl Streep actually did record that. That would be phenomenal if she did.
Oh,
That would be
man.
that would be so awesome if she was just like, yeah, I'll do one line for you.
She'll win the Oscar for that one line too.
Yeah.
Like, that's
Honestly, she will.
it's inevitable.
Yep.
Can we talk about the visuals?
Yes.
Just like we haven't hit on that yet.
Mm.
Just how awesome it looked. And I know like we all saw it. Like, well, you didn't see it IMAX.
No, I saw 40.
But I'm sure it looked great.
It did. Fantastic.
But like IMAX, like I was telling Shamato earlier, one of the first scenes where they did, I don't know what the technical term for it, but when they spun the camera with,
Yeah.
I almost threw up. And I leaned over to my brother and I was like, dude. And at the same time, his wife on the other side of him leaned over and was like, I don't feel good. When I got up, almost 3 hours later, I had to reorient myself from that one scene. I felt loopy. It looked amazing. It looked great.
So the scene when he is standing on the Mary and he's over Tau Ceti, and it switches from like the regular camera to the Petroscope camera.
Yes.
That was gorgeous. Like I was like, this is insane. Just how beautiful of a shot it was. It was crazy.
Justin, we talk about how they shot it, like with the no green screen and all that.
Yeah. The entirety of this movie was all practical. They did not use a single like green screen or anything. They built an actual ship, not a miniature model. They built an actual ship and spun it and acted it on it that way. And then when they came to filming the scene, they did lighting a certain way, and they did.
It was Mandalorian style. Like they used that.
Yeah.
I don't even know what it's called.
I forget what it was too. I forget what it's called too. But it's a technique of filming, and it's like something you do with the lenses and stuff. Like it just turned out so incredible. Like the specks that you see floating around him, those are actually like lens effects. Like it was incredible.
Yeah, like it was just so well done, and like even the fact that like they actually had Rocky there. Like it was a puppet.
Yep.
He was not just, it wasn't like a tennis ball like that he was acting towards, like they do a lot of times with that kind of stuff. But like he was literally there.
He was definitely. Rocky was CGI enhanced, but he was not. He was still practical. He was still interacting with Grace, and that paid dividends because you could tell by just Gosling's performance, like he was truly interacting and engaged.
You brought it up earlier, talking about like the sound, but it was amazing that the times that with the lack of sound, it felt so crazy when they cut the sound and just everything went down. I was like, holy crap.
Yeah.
You felt like you were in space. Like it was, nobody here knows what space feels like, but you felt like you were in space.
Yeah. Like I do love that they did do the, essentially, I don't know if they ever did it where it did have a little sound, but it seemed like every time they were in space, there was no sound, which creates just like this eeriness that I think really fits into like the world, and like it's accuracy as well.
Yeah.
And I will say, little things. What we already talked about him with the red lighting on top of the ship, and he's just like taking it in, and then Rocky's like, "What's Grace doing?" Like, and then he's like, "I'm taking it in." Like
I'm having a moment.
Yeah,
having a moment.
And then he's like, "Okay, hurry!" Like,
yeah, like it's always it is interesting because of his engineer kind of nature, plus like his species seems to have that kind of in them a little bit. Is he's just so like straightforward and like going for it, whereas which kind of like layered Ryland's humanity as well. You get to see he's a little more like oddballish, which even on Earth it seems like he kind of fits more into the oddballish set anyway. But like it really, with Rocky being like so straightforward, like point A to point B, it really like kind of gave him like a way to be more of that oddball nature.
Yeah. I feel like this is probably a good time to talk about Ryan Gosling overall, and then give him his praise. Like
Miss Flowers, boys.
My goodness, man, this guy, he went all in. Honestly, he's been in some great movies, fantastic movies. I think this is his best performance he's ever done.
This is
Hands
his
down.
Oscar, right?
It has to
I
be.
hope so.
He's
Like,
in the running for sure.
honestly, I was like, that's what I was thinking about. I was like, the only thing that I was like, is it too early in the year?
That's what
my
worries
only
me.
issue. But I do think, didn't Sinners come out in like February of last year?
Sinners was March, I think, too. Yeah.
Okay,
And it did really well.
Yes. So like it is possible, but usually this early in the year they don't usually release Oscar like movies.
Yeah.
Like his I know it's common for actors, but his crying looks so real.
Very
Like,
genuine.
He looked like
Very
he
genuine.
was in it,
Yeah.
and he played a big worry from, like I said, the book Elitist was, is he the guy to play like Ryland? Because like I wasn't sure.
I couldn't picture him. And when I saw he was cast,
Yeah,
I was like,
oh,
I
yeah.
cannot see this guy as Grace.
Yeah, I was a little bit like, is this the guy? Like, is he too handsome?
Handsome. Yep.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, like 100%. Like, which would make him like me a little bit too self assured, which is kind of like, which is not really what Ryland is.
He was the freaking guy. I mean,
was.
he nailed it. I thought they did a really good job of the costume design around, like, I mean, he looked like hipster-ish, but not in a cool way. But like, this is probably too much. But I'm sitting there, he's wearing like the nice, like the sweater and stuff. I was like, dude, he's a good-looking dude. He's got the beanie on. He's got the rain jacket. But like, he looked the part. And then he really, I thought he nailed the personality. Because you're right, Shimada, like he could have been easily like looked like he was overconfident.
Yeah,
and I mean, he didn't play that arrogance that you would picture somebody like that Hollywood famous, beautiful being, and he didn't. He still was very timid at moments, as far as like he was modest, like he didn't think of himself as anything special, and you felt that, and you didn't take it. You didn't take it like it was fake.
yeah, like because that is just a huge part of his character. Because he isn't supposed to be a superhero. He isn't supposed to be like the gung ho soldier or anything along those lines. Like he isn't supposed to be even driven. Like honestly, he's not even supposed to be that. I'm like that's kind of like one of his biggest failings is his lack of drive in a lot of ways. Is kind of like through everything that he does, he just kind of just does stuff.
Which he never wanted it. He never wanted it.
No, he never wanted
They
it.
came to him in the middle of teaching, and they were like, "Hey, can you come and like just test this real quick?" And he's like, "No, I'm not the guy. I'm not the guy. But you are the guy. You wrote this paper. We need to see." And
Well, even that paper kind of points out to the fact that doesn't think because he when that happened, he kind of fell out of that entire circle and never really
He's like a whoop
made an
puppy.
attempt to go back.
Yeah,
you know?
he's like a what puppy that was kind of like an outcast in his area of expertise. But then, like, I think he found, like, obviously, like, what he loved in teaching, and I love those scenes. I'm glad they had the classroom scenes, but I'm also glad they kind of left it in there because in the book, like, he went really heavy and like I want to stay here with my kids and all that kind of stuff, and like it was a little bit weird. But like with this, like obviously, like he took up things with them, like with him of like their artwork, and I thought that was enough.
Yeah.
It wasn't a, when I get back, like the kids in my class will be,
graduated.
graduated 30 years old, things like that. They didn't go into all that detail, but I also don't think they needed to.
No.
Yeah. Like in like I think in the book, like he went back multiple times to teach in between. Like he was like he went back to his class a couple times in the book, and it was like he kept on getting pulled back into that environment. And they were just kind of like, okay, we're gonna show you, but then it's like they're done.
Yep.
Like he's now a part of like the system. Yeah.
And Ryan Gosling did a great job portraying that. Like there's nothing this man can't do besides play cornerback. That's it. Complete liability on the edge, dude. It's just so bad. But other than that, he's fantastic.
So can we talk about the ending? Just the difference from the book? Do we want to get into that?
What was different?
There was visuals that were very different, and like we never got to see Earth again. Like in the book, he sends the probes to Earth with all the information, and you never see them receive it.
Yeah.
Fascinating. So you have no idea if it was successful for Earth.
Correct.
Yep.
Wow.
So like just that, I mean, it wasn't a long scene, but it was just that one scene, and I love the attention to detail of. I thought about it later as I was leaving. It's like, oh, like why are they in like Alaska or something like that? I'm
Except
like,
they're
no,
probably not.
They're not.
Yeah, they're in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did not think about that until like I was leaving. I was like, okay.
And they aged her up. They aged her up.
They aged her up a little bit. The only thing is, I kind of always thought it would have been cool if like one of his students, like if they just had someone who sort of looked like them as a part of her staff now. Like I always thought that would have been a cool, just
Nod.
A little wrinkle.
Yeah, like there's the black girl that was like the head of the class. Like you don't really get to see it too much like in the movie, but like in the book, she's like the star student. I thought it'd been always cool if she was like ends up being a part of that team, because like she would already been like 30 something years old by the time that this stuff gets back, you know?
Yeah, that's a good point. And then when you see him on Rocky's planet, there is like, well, I feel like when we were doing the book, I feel like everything was like for the most part dark. There was no like there's minimal light, and he was in more of like a container, which he was, but it was not ecologically,
Like
environmentally.
Sandy
yeah.
from SpongeBob.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Ah,
It was not like that, but it looked beautiful in the movie.
I love how Rocky's not atmosphere, but his like
His suit,
suit,
to walk around in.
how
Has
he
evolved.
Yeah, like I thought that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, instead of it just being the strict ball, it was like much more form fitting.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was a nice touch. It was a nice touch.
you kind of can't blame Ryland for being like, yeah, can I think about it for a little bit? Going home, because it like kind of looked like paradise. He's like
Yeah,
talking about the water temperature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and then the little like Rocky saying, "Take as long as you want." Like, 'cause
Yeah.
He doesn't want him to leave.
And
But yeah.
I had read somewhere that they said that Andy Weir was like open to writing like a sequel to it.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot to write about still.
Yeah,
I
so
think.
I don't know if he thought that when he originally wrote the book, because
Mhm.
it's 2020 somewhere around there.
Oh, it's recent. Yeah, I don't remember.
So like, and I don't exactly think he set it up perfectly in the book to write a sequel to it. But I think with the success of how well the movie's doing,
Yeah, you never know. You
It's
never know.
possible.
And obviously I do love the touch. Like they still had it in the book was him still being a teacher and teaching
Yes.
these young,
Iridian, yes.
young Iridians.
That was awesome.
And then obviously the touch of he didn't need equipment anymore to speak to them. We got subtitles because he's speaking in the language. He understands. He doesn't need the translator. He can understand what Rocky's saying, and Rocky can understand what he's saying.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy to think about. Like how much time has passed, that you can learn to do that. That's so cool.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if we're missing anything big.
I mean, we've hit a lot of things, but
Yeah.
I mean, I was thinking there was like just there was so much to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah.
How about early on when they pull him into that top secret meeting and they haven't briefed him yet,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like the phrases that he uses, you could tell he's like a middle school teacher.
Yes.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yep.
Whoop, there it is.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, whoop, there it is.
It's like I like that guy.
But I do like that they gave it back to him. Like they weren't uppity scientists still. They did it
Yes.
Yes, they did a good job. And I did like they didn't expressly say the stuff about Strat like being her. So essentially she's the king of Earth. Like in this moment, she might as well be like the king or queen of Earth.
Yeah.
Like she has that much power, and just like the way that she essentially knights him
Oh,
in that
yeah,
moment,
stand up.
like that's what it feels.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
she's essentially knighting him, and she does it in such a casual way to where like in that casualness it exudes power.
That's
like
true.
because
Yes.
there's no because she isn't getting this formality, so it's not the words, it's
Yeah.
the person who's saying the words. Like that really like gives that strength to what's being said. So I always thought that was really cool. I would like to just throw out a couple of things for T-Roll's like perspective from being like a non-book reader.
Let's hear
Like,
it.
number one, so the little things they sent back to Earth, did you notice anything that was written on them? Did you capture that at all?
There were some names like Ringo or Tango or John or something. I don't remember.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Ringo, John,
Paul.
Paul.
George. It was the Beatles.
Yes, the Beatles, the band.
As he
Yeah, I
launched
knew
it-
that. I totally
As they
know.
launched the Beatles plays, two of us plays.
Yes. But yeah, like I was just wondering like how you saw that, and I do kind of want to get your reaction as well to the explosion, like with Dubois
yeah.
and with that, like how did that like hit you?
Okay, so they're having Strat and Ryland are having like a pretty good moment. Like connecting well. They're what 3 days away at that point,
Yes,
Yep, 3 days.
away.
and I think visually it was awesome. I love how you see it in the distance before they feel it. Like
Yeah.
thought it was cool. I did think it was a little confusing. Like maybe I wasn't paying attention. Maybe it was hard to understand her, but I didn't realize. It took me a minute to realize that they were both dead at that moment.
I
So-
do think they may have like fumbled a little bit, like the distinguishing factors of like that they were
Inseparable
Yes.
in a relationship.
yes.
Yeah, seeing each other.
All you really get is that like one moment where they throw down the paper and it's like the two pictures of them.
Right.
Yeah.
Like afterwards, especially like because you're like the explosion happens, but they don't really like say specifically like, oh, this person and this person is dead. They kind of just throw down the paper that has the pictures of them.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of noise in the theater I was in. These really nice theaters with the IMAX and the nice seats. Like sometimes you feel like you're by yourself, but that was one of the times that the dude with the no shoes, like, he was 3 people down from me. I hear him go, "What?"
Wow. Way
I
to
was like,
go.
"Yeah, I mean that was, pretty big surprise.
It was. Yeah.
I'm
Yes.
sure for him."
Yeah, that was a big twist in the book, and like I do remember like I sent Justin some theories leading up to it about certain things and how he ends up on the ship and things like that, and every single one of my theories ended up being wrong, but I think I had some decent stuff that went out there.
Yeah. Yeah. You did. But yeah, no, that's good. I mean, that scene was incredible, and dude, this movie was incredible, and it truly was a spectacle and astonishing. And I mean, I don't even know what more I can say about this movie. Man.
I'm excited for it to come out like on.
I mean, I'm seeing it again next
Blu-ray.
week. I'm seeing it again next week. So
as you should,
yeah,
as a Regal Unlimited member.
Yeah.
that's right. Unofficial sponsor.
Hey, you guys will be
Official sponsor. Jeez.
you guys will be proud of me. I never get popcorn at movies,
You
But-
did it.
I did. Now, did I do it because my wife was there? I can neither confirm nor deny. But I
Yeah.
did eat. I did eat.
Mr. Moneybags.
I did eat a lot of popcorn.
Yeah, you can't hide money. You can't do
I
it.
did. I did eat a lot of buttery popcorn. It was fun. It
Look
was
at you
really
go.
fun. And I may or may not have snuck a drink in. May or may not. Can't confirm nor
Yeah.
deny.
Attaboy.
What else? Is there anything else you guys want to say about this film before we cut this off?
Okay, I'm gonna say one scene I wish they did not cut from the book. I'm just gonna say one. All right, I'm not gonna drag it on too long. But in the moment when they say goodbye in space, and they're like, "Okay, let's go save our planets," and they go their own ways. In the book, Grace is on the telescope almost the entire time watching Rocky's ship go away, and he keeps him in vision. And the book keeps talking about, oh, okay, I can see he's X distance away. I
Yeah.
can still see him. And then Rocky would respond, or like you would see in the book, Rocky would like do a flare or something, say hi or say bye or whatever, right? And as they got farther apart in the book, like Grace would be like, okay, I can barely see him now, and then he's gone. And then like that hits, like that's where it hits, like you're alone, your friend's gone, and it was such a pivotal moment in the book, and you felt it, and it was like gut wrenching in your heart, like dang,
Yeah.
this is it, he's alone now, and I wish that was stayed in the movie.
Hey, here's a question about when they split. So they split. Dylan realizes he has enough, or no, again, I don't understand the science of it. The ship detects a contaminant. Shout out Armando or whoever figures that out. You know what I'm saying? And then he realizes he has to do something to save Rocky. Like if he just goes back to Earth. By the way, pause for a moment. If he just went back to Earth and let this entire dude, I got what I needed.
Arc right there, dude.
Yeah,
Oh.
no doubt.
Well, then they could do a sequel of like the Iridians coming to like
Oh,
wipe out
no.
Earth
For revenge.
because like they're
Small
like, well,
colony that survived.
Oh my
yeah, like we
God.
can't. Well, they end up leaving the planet because like they no longer can live on their planet, and they're like, you know what? We're just going to take that other planet. They refuse to help us.
Yeah,
Dang, dude.
that planet with all that oxygen. We're heading there.
I am glad that he did go back.
So-
and
Well, he goes back, and here's my question: in the movie, he goes back to help Rocky, and you're nervous. Rocky doesn't show up for a few seconds,
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, what is about to happen? And then Rocky shows up, and then they just kind of, it's probably because it's a 2.5 hour movie. They can't do everything. But tell me in the book that there was more to Ryland showing up and Rocky. They have to fix whatever's wrong with Rocky's like astrophage or something. Because like that just happened so fast. You know what I'm saying? In the movie. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
What I'm asking?
I get what you're saying. It did happen fast in the movie, especially like when Ryland's ship realizes that there's a problem, like that's a drawn out thing in the book too.
Oh yeah, that's
and
huge.
they're trying to discover what's causing it, and you end up learning that they have developed adapted to
Immunity,
their
yeah.
environment.
They've just figured out how to like essentially travel through the Xenonite.
Yes.
Yep.
And then that's what he realizes that Rocky's entire ship is made of Xenonite. He's screwed. He's out there. He's sitting
Yeah.
duck. I can't
Yeah.
be my friend. And then when he goes over there, you do have the suspense of, is Rocky dead? Or is he waiting? Is he like just in there dying?
Yeah.
Like, what can I do to save him? And he does appear. And then I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think in the book, Rocky comes over to Ryland's ship, and then they just take Ryland's ship to the planet, I believe.
Yeah, because I want to say there was a lot more about the astrophage on Rocky's ship, about like how he had so much more than Ryland. Because
Yeah, he was able to give him $2 million to get back.
exactly. So it's like Ryland's ship, he could not keep that much on there. But for Rocky, he had so much that he could just hand it over.
Yeah.
So I want to say that they talked a little bit more about that and making sure that we knew, like he gave it to him, but I don't remember much of it in the movie.
Yeah.
And so, again, the science side of this thing. So the astrophage is basically like an intergalactic virus that kills stars.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
it.
like in the most
Crazy.
like essentially like just it takes their energy. Essentially, is what it's doing.
Yeah.
You know, like the energy output of the sun is what it's
A
doing.
true parasite. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's scary. Hope nothing like that's ever actually possible.
Exactly.
Goodness gracious. But yeah, man, absolutely incredible film. An epic movie. Like one that, like, if people don't see it in theaters, I think they're missing out. You know, I think there's a lot of people, we got friends who love just waiting for the movie to go into streaming. You know, everybody loves that. I love that. But this is a movie people have to see in theaters. Almost like we have to beat the drum of like get people to go see it, you know?
Yeah, I hope so as well. Just because I think this was the highest like cost non sequel movie since Tenet. So I'm really hoping that like original like idea. So I think another reason we got to push for it is it's an at least semi-original idea, even though it's based off the book. But it's something that isn't just some sequel they're putting out or anything like that. They put a lot of money, they put a lot of effort behind.
It was Amazon, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
Amazon, MGM.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it's important for you to support when they do these things and they do it correctly, because that's like essentially like the only way you can really vote nowadays. Like when it comes to this kind of stuff is like with your wallet, like where you put your money, putting it into that and helping keep because people always complain about, oh, there's no original movies anymore. There's no movies that do this or that anymore. Well, this is one of those movies where you can show that like an original movie
Go watch.
can
it.
be really,
Get your
really
butt to the
good
theater and go watch it.
and be profitable. But you have to show they put the effort into it on making it. Now we have to put the effort into it by going to see it.
Yeah.
That's right.
The other night when I got home, my wife, she bit the bullet and she let me go see it when we had 4 kids sports going on that night. So she did a lot of work to make sure I could go see it. But she's also a fan of the book. So when I got home today, I was like, oh yeah, well, I can't wait. I'm going to buy it when it comes out on DVD. She's like, no, we're going to see it in theater again. And I was like, heck yeah. I will go see this with you anytime.
Yeah. There you go. That's great.
Shout out the wives who put up with all of our junk so that we can go see these movies, so that we can do these podcasts. Boys, I think that's about it. We saved Earth. We saved this podcast. Podcast almost didn't happen. Astrophage almost got us. You know what I'm saying?
So true.
But we figured it out, and I don't know if there's going to be a sequel. I kind of hope there's not, because it just felt like such a good story and a good ending. But the dude that wrote it, this is also the guy that wrote The Martian, right?
It is. Yep.
It is.
Yeah. So talk about just batting for 1,000 on like your books becoming incredible movies.
So true. Yeah.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. So, yeah, anyways, I'm sensing a trend of the style of writing, the genre.
Exactly.
But anyways, boys, let's wrap it up. This was a great conversation. Big shout out to everybody who listened, who went and saw this awesome film, and who sat through this review with us. We appreciate it. Reminder to subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen. Share this podcast with your friends. Follow us on social media. In particular, go over to Instagram. Check out our post updating the leaderboard for Trial by Tomato. Fill out the Trial by Tomato link. Get your name in the pot. It's not too late. It's still early in the season. There's 8 more films that we are going to be doing the Rotten Tomato scores on, so you still have plenty of time to catch up. So please go and do that. With all that in mind, for my good friends Sandy, Shamato, and the landlord, Jordan Mosley, this is T-Roll saying thank you so much for listening to the Royal Geek Podcast. We will see you next time, you peasants.